This is a dramatized story inspired by real opportunities in specialty farming. While the characters are fictional, the farming practices and challenges are based on real-world vanilla cultivation. 3 years. Imagine planting a crop today, knowing it may not earn you a single dollar until years later. Most people would call that impossible. Others would call it reckless. But for one farmer, it became the greatest gamble of his life. Daniel stood in the middle of an empty field as the morning sun stretched across the land. Where others saw weeds and dry soil, he saw a future no one else believed in. He had spent weeks researching specialty crops before discovering vanilla, one of the world's most valuable spices. The numbers amazed him, but one detail frightened everyone around him. Vanilla demanded patience. Years of it. Even so, Daniel smiled as he gripped a handful of soil, convinced that some opportunities reward those willing to wait longer than everyone else. When Daniel announced his decision, the reactions came quickly. His neighbors laughed. His relatives questioned his judgment. Even experienced farmer Mr. Bello shook his head. Why choose a crop that takes years before producing income when corn, cassava, or vegetables could bring money every season? The questions echoed through Daniel's mind every evening. Bills continued arriving. Tools needed replacing. His savings slowly disappeared. Grace quietly worried about their future but refused to discourage him. She reminded him that every successful journey begins with a decision that looks unreasonable to everyone else. Daniel planted each vanilla vine carefully, hoping one day those tiny plants would prove every doubter wrong. Weeks became months. Months became years. Every morning Daniel inspected the climbing vines, tying them gently to support poles and checking every leaf for signs of disease. Progress was almost invisible. Some days it felt as though nothing had changed at all. Heavy rains threatened young plants. Dry seasons tested their strength. Pests appeared without warning. There were moments Daniel questioned whether he had made the biggest mistake of his life. Yet every challenge reminded him that specialty farming isn't simply about planting crops. It's about enduring seasons when success remains completely out of sight. One afternoon Daniel met Emma, a vanilla grower who had spent years mastering the crop. She smiled as she walked between the vines. "You've already survived the hardest part," she told him. Daniel looked confused. He thought the difficult part was still ahead. Emma explained that many people quit before vanilla ever reaches maturity. "Patience," she said, "is often more valuable than money in specialty farming." Then she revealed something Daniel had never expected. Growing vanilla wasn't enough. Every flower would need careful hand-pollination within a very short window if it were ever going to become a valuable vanilla bean. Soon the first delicate flowers appeared. For Daniel, excitement quickly turned into pressure. Each blossom would remain open for only a brief period. Miss that opportunity, and the flower would never produce a bean. From sunrise until evening, Daniel carefully pollinated every flower by hand. One by one, hour after hour. The work demanded incredible concentration because every successful pollination represented months of future growth. Every missed flower represented lost income. For the first time in years, Daniel could finally see hope beginning to take shape on the vines. Months later, long green vanilla pods hung from the vines. Daniel's excitement returned, but Emma reminded him that harvesting was only the beginning. Fresh vanilla beans carry very little of the familiar aroma people recognize around the world. The real transformation happens during the curing process. For weeks, Daniel carefully heated, dried, wrapped, and monitored every bean. Tiny mistakes could reduce quality. Great attention to detail could dramatically improve value. Each passing day transformed the green pods into dark, fragrant vanilla beans ready for premium markets. Daniel realized he hadn't simply grown a crop. He had crafted a product. The morning Daniel finally delivered his cured vanilla beans to buyers felt almost unreal. He remembered every person who had doubted him, every difficult season, every sleepless night, every moment he had questioned his own decision. Now those same vines that once looked like a foolish investment had become proof that patience could produce extraordinary results. Grace smiled as Daniel returned home. The reward wasn't just financial. It was confidence. Years of uncertainty had become a future built on knowledge, persistence, and careful planning. Daniel's story reminds us that the most valuable opportunities rarely offer instant rewards. Vanilla farming demands patience, skill, precision, and resilience. Success doesn't arrive the moment the vines are planted. It comes after years of consistent care, careful hand-pollination, proper harvesting, and meticulous curing. While vanilla can become a profitable specialty crop under the right conditions and with access to suitable markets, it also carries real risks and requires significant time before the first harvest. Like any agricultural business, success depends on climate, management, quality, and market demand. Sometimes the harvest that changes your life begins with a decision that everyone else believes is impossible. If you enjoyed this documentary-inspired animation, subscribe and join us for more inspiring stories exploring the remarkable opportunities and realities of specialty farming from around the world.